I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBN, we're exploring one of the most mysterious and faith-filled phenomena in Christian history. We're taking a look at a powerful book. It is called The Stigmata, Those Who Bore the Wounds of Christ. It is written by a terrific author. His name is Deacon Albert Graham. And in this fascinating book, he documents over 650 individuals across centuries who have mysteriously borne the wounds of Christ, from revered saints to lesser-known figures whose lives remain shrouded in mystery. The book is a mix of faith, miracles, and spiritual intrigue. The Stigmata separates fact from fiction while uncovering divine mysteries of sacrifice and suffering. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him on TV today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Deacon, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Oh, you're quite welcome, Logan.
This is such a powerful book. What personally inspired you to write The Stigmata?
Well, I have always been interested in mystical phenomena. In fact, my first book, The Compendium of the Miraculous, published by TAN in 2013, I list some and explain some 42 mystical phenomena. One of these phenomena was stigmatization. In researching the topic, I discovered that the most exhaustive study on the subject was done at the end of the 19th century by a French doctor who identified some 321 stigmatas at the time. So it gave me impetus to look and research to write the book, and my research brought that number up to 657, way into the 21st century.
We're glad you did write this book because it is powerful and your research is top-notch. What patterns or common traits did you find among stigmatic across history?
Well, Dr. Albert E, who wrote that book about 2 centuries ago, found that 90% of the stigmatas were women, and a solid majority of them were members of a religious order. He also discovered that the majority of them came from Italy, France, and Spain. My study shows that of the 144 stigmatas identified between 1901 and 1999, there was a similar geographic pattern as in the past. However, of the 31 stigmatas identified in the 21st century, there seems to be a breakaway from this pattern, and the pattern of those stigmatas coming from Western Europe. So of the 31 identified stigmatas in the 21st century, 4 came from the USA, 3 from Canada, 2 each from Syria and England, and 1 each from Ireland, Croatia, Poland, Bolivia, Argentina, Costa Rica, Cuba, Japan, and New Guinea, Philippines, and Venezuela. So this is a new phenomena among stigmatas.
Amazing, amazing. Was there a particular case that deeply moved you or challenged your own faith?
Yes, I was moved by Simeon's prophecy in the temple in Luke 2:35, when he told the Blessed Virgin Mary in the temple that a sword would pierce her soul. She may very well have been the first human being to have been given an invisible stigmata. I was also surprised to learn that there have been Christians from other denominations or even a pagan who received the stigmata.
Amazing. Now, there are doubters out there, of course, so let me ask you this. How do you distinguish genuine stigmata from potential fraud or medical anomalies?
Well, in my work, I have a section on just that, how to distinguish true stigmatism, such as the location of the wound or wounds, the timing of stigmata, the characteristics of the stigmata wound, the flow of the blood from the wound, the character of the individual who suffers the stigmata, and the onset of the stigmata wounds, the odor of the wounds, and the stigmata wounds on the body of the dead. In the latter case, the visible appearance of these mysterious marks after all apparent signs of life have left the body completely refutes the opinion of those who attribute the stigmata to autosuggestion, since the dead body has not control over what happens to it. My work identifies some 50 stigmatists where the stigmata was evident post-mortem.
Amazing, amazing. Why do you think certain individuals are chosen to bear the wounds of Christ?
Well, the stigmata are not given to the stigmatic for his or her benefit, but for the benefit of others. The stigmata represents the crucified Christ in a world continually in need of loving sacrifice that atones for our sins. The stigmatic is his loving sacrifice, one who is transformed into a living crucifix, who shares in the Lord's passion for the redemption of the world. The victim need not have all the marks of the crucifixion to be considered a stigmatist. If a soul receives one or several of the wounds of the passion, he or she is considered to have a partial or incomplete stigmata. Nevertheless, they are still considered true stigmatists. The stigmata wounds may be permanent or periodic, transitory, simultaneous, or successive. The stigma wound or wounds are normally visible, but in some cases the wounds were visible at first, but out of deep humility, the recipient asked God to make the wounds hidden or invisible. Some stigmatics who have experienced both the visible and invisible stigmata have emphatically stated that the invisible stigmata are significantly more painful than the visible form.
Such a compelling book, so much compelling information in there. What message do you believe these mystics bring to modern believers or even skeptics?
Well, the stigmatist represents the crucified Christ to the world. A world that is continually in need of loving sacrifice that atones for our sin. The stigmatist is this loving sacrifice, one who is transformed into a living crucifix, who shares in the Lord's passion for the redemption of the world. There are other Christs among us, signs of God's mercy and love for unbelievers, and channels for His grace to those who need healing, renewal, and conversion. Thus, God allows them to share in the redemptive suffering of Christ, to be victim souls for the salvation of souls.
What role do miracles like levitation or bilocation play in confirming authenticity?
In the history of stigmatists, we find that the stigma was always accompanied by other concomitant mystical phenomena, such as levitation and bilocation. In my book, entitled Accompaniments of the Miraculous, I cover and explain such 43 of these mystical phenomena. Most of the stigmatists have experienced one or more of these phenomena, which I believe helps to confirm their credibility as being chosen instruments of God.
How has this project affected your own spiritual life and calling?
It has strengthened my faith and especially my belief in the supernatural. I see my calling as promoting my 3 books, Compendium of the Miraculous, Revelation, Mystical Phenomena, and Divine Promises, and the Stigmata of those who bore the wounds of Christ, so as to reach as many of my fellow human beings as possible in order to make them aware that Jesus and His mother are still alive and active in our world, through signs and wonders such as Marian apparitions, Eucharistic miracles, and stigmatists who willingly bear the wounds of Christ. Those interested in viewing all 3 of my books are invited to look at my website, DeaconAlbertEGraham.com. They are available from the publisher or from Amazon.
What do you hope readers, especially those who may be skeptical, take away from this book?
I want them to have a realization and appreciation for the miraculous, otherworldly, and supernatural. To know that God is alive and always with us. That He manifests Himself in answer to every prayer. Eucharistic miracles and I also believe that many of us have lost our sense of the miraculous and supernatural, which may have played a part in the scandal of our church and the reduced holiness among our clergy and fellow Christians. Their awe and wonder seems to have waned.
Do you believe the phenomenon is still occurring today?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I have identified the names of 31 21st century stigmatas from 17 different countries. Among them are 3 priests and a lay brother. They, along with their biographies, are mentioned in my book. As of the time of publication of the Stigmata, 2313, about 20 of these stigmatists are still alive today, and they are mentioned in my book with pictures of the stigmata and a little biographic information about them.
Well, you've done wonderful work on this book. It is such a fascinating area of study, such an amazing part of our faith. The name of the book is The Stigmata, Those Who Bore the Wounds of Christ. It is written by Deacon Albert E. Graham. He has penned a profound exploration of faith, miracles, and the mysteries of God's hand in our world. Deacon, thank you so much for joining me here today.
You're quite welcome, Logan.
I appreciate your time. God bless you, sir. I appreciate your time, your insight, and your great faith. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.